So now we'll talk about the Proteaceae, which is a very, very important family in Australia. So we're in the domain of woody plants, basically, when we talk about Proteaceae. About not super diverse compared to some of the other families we've looked at, about 1,600 species, but entirely woody plants. And the key characters to think about are hard, leathery, long-lived leaves. So when you look at a Banksia tree, hopefully you're standing in front of a Banksia or a hakia right now, look at the leaves and imagine how long they live. So we're talking on the order of 3 to 10 years leaf lifespan. So those leaves actually last a very long time. They're very well built and tough. And then the other characteristic is that weird flowers, often in complex inflorescences with adnate, remember, different types of parts fused together. And how they're fused together varies a bit across different genera in this group. So the most common one that you'll see, probably you're looking at right now, is Banksia. Woody, big, complex inflorescence with lots of flowers in there. And then the perianth is fused with the anthers, is adnate to the filaments of the stamens. So that creates this complex individual flower structure and very long stigma here. So that's together, this kind of, you'll get a feeling for how Proteaceae flowers look. So this kind of weirdness. And it's weird in different ways, but there is a kind of vibe that you get after a while looking at enough different Proteaceae flowers. Here is a very classic one that you might have seen all over New South Wales, the state flower of New South Wales, the waratah, and very characteristic Proteaceae kind of look. Another one, which is Grevillea, so another very characteristic inflorescence of Proteaceae with lots of adnate structures in the flowers. And then a third one, which is hakia, and again, that kind of Proteaceae type look. Another characteristic of the group to look for is that the fruits are woody and held on the plant. This is a hakia, and if anyone does get hakia for their iNaturalist collections, make sure you take pictures of the fruits, because the fruits are really what are characteristic for identifying the species in this group, and also some other Proteaceae groups. So the woodiness, the very, very tough woody structures comprise the fruits, and the seeds, there's a seam there that will open in the event of a fire, and inside there is a seed. So that life history is called Serotonin. So this is an important word, and it is very common in the Proteaceae. Here are lots of different, this is not a Proteaceae, but many of these are Proteaceae inflorescences with the seed inside. Here's a hakia fruit with the opened up to show the seed. So Serotonin is not just found in Proteaceae, also here in the pine trees from the northern hemisphere, some eucalyptus, but it is characteristic of this family. So if you see woody fruits that are held on the tree together with the tough leaves, even if you can't find the flowers, that is a very good characteristic that you might be in Proteaceae. And this will be a very common one in the iNaturalist photographs, because it's very common and important around Sydney. The lineage of Proteaceae evolved in Gondwana. It's a very characteristic Gondwanan lineage. So that was back in the day when Australia was fused with Antarctica, India, Africa, Madagascar there, and South America. And so you find Proteaceae almost exclusively in these continents today. So it is very common in Africa, especially in South Africa. There's a huge diversity of Proteaceae, and it's very, very diverse in Australia, an important part of the flora. So that's the Proteaceae.